Thank you to Cade Silvermoon for their generous donation on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description.
Alright, it's been a fucking minute and we done this one, eh? Well, fuck. I ain't done Cliff. Apparently this is a Murdoch episode. This one, yes. You ain't notice change. Is this relevant? Off? I don't think it is. Gotta pull up the episode in my phone now. Gotta make sure. Aye, and fucking Cliff and William get better fucking episodes, but... Okay, the Murdoch episode, that was episode 13. Shut up, you fucking piece of shite. Aye, it is. Aye, what a no. Who the fucking guessed? And that's how it ends. Aye. Who the fucking guessed that? It wouldn't. Crazy shit, that. Aye, so, hello everyone. My name's Decalink. Trained and professional and all that. It's Smoke Room episode now. It's Murdoch episode. Update, rather, because it might be 2 episodes. They said on the Patreon update log, it's 11,000 words, so it's probably going to be a fucking long one. They said it's the biggest one they've done, so it's probably going to be split up. But we'll see. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? You got to take a long fucking time to get there to a fucking billion time. So let's do it. Oh, my fucking back. Change how? Murdoch pulls away from me and crosses his arms. Well, there's a lot of ways. I've found some that feel like they work for me. He frowns. We may already have some in common. Murdoch, what are you talking about? Fox's ears flick, and his glance switches from one wall of photos to another. Let's talk about it elsewhere. Murdoch pushes himself up off the ground and lends me his wrist. He pulls me up briskly with a strained grunt. Then he looks me over again. Why don't you wait outside while I collect photos? I avoid his gaze. We both know there's something wrong with those pictures. Wouldn't it be a better idea to just tear them all up? He tore up one of the shots himself. Maybe. Murdoch turns around and crosses his arms as if he's actually considering listening to me. I don't think they'd leave the same impression on the sheriff. He plucks the shots from the string, opens a cabinet, pulls a manila envelope to encase them, and tucks it beneath his arm. We walk out of the dark room, and Murdoch locks it behind us, and we keep walking until we get to the storefront. Ooh, we haven't seen it at night before. I think I should get these to William. When? His brow furrows. As quickly as possible, so right now. My heart beats faster. Isn't it late? He rents the apartment above the jail, so he's almost always there. He puts the envelope in a small briefcase and snaps it shut, looking at me out of the corner of his eye. Personally, just between you and me, I think none of these shots will reveal information that William doesn't already know. But sooner they pass from my paws to his, the better. It's a queer thing to tell me. So then what's the point of handing them over in the first place? It leaves a paper trail to cover his ass when the high-ups poke into his work. Shows them that he's not twiddling his thumbs if a perpetrator doesn't get caught. My gaze lingers on the briefcase. So you do think there was a perpetrator? Murdoch's shoulders heave as he lets out a sigh. Frankly,
it doesn't matter what you think!
Our business is paid to take photos and pass them on, not to interpret them. Considering what we both saw tonight, we know that my testimony won't always be accurate anyhow. Why look at pictures at all? You know they can come out wrong. They could mislead people. Might even make them think things they shouldn't be thinking. I'm fairly certain that at the core of the photo, what's contained in the pictures doesn't change. Just the perception of the person who's looking. Some pictures can still prove useful when being mindful. I let out a bitter laugh. And you think William is mindful? William's tail flicks from side to side. Of evidence, of course I do. Not so much mindful of the feelings of a couple of hicks who claim that the pictures can change, and only in this town. Strikes me as the kind of man who needs to expend something on his own to believe it possible. Guess I can't say I'm much different. Can't say I am either. He smiles. That's why I miss younger me. He wouldn't believe in a lot of the things I do today. His smile turns into a frown. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm being stalled. His eyes narrow as he looks me over. We've had a rough day. Come with me. Damn it. I'm running out of time. Why? Because I don't think you should be by yourself right now. I think a familiar face would do you some good. Fine. Let's go. Maybe I could grab the pictures and run. That would just make Murdoch tell William what happened. He'd be on to me. Murdoch knocks on the door to William's office. We don't hear anything. Murdoch knocks again. We hear some low grumbling before the door finally opens. William looks a little more tired than usual. He smells like booze. Oh, it's just you. Not just me. William peers behind the fox and his expression softens. Oh, Sam too. I'm sorry to say it, boys, but I have no time for pleasure right now. Some things came up. Nothing to worry about. We're here to deliver the pictures. Something peculiar happens when the briefcase passes from Murdoch's hand to William's. First, it feels like every small mistake I've ever made in my life adds up to this moment. Each thing I did wrong is another strand, making up the noose that tightens around my neck. But then, I feel lighter. Like all the pressure is leaving me, almost as if the air were thinner. As if it was all out of my hands. As if it was really just a pile of mundane pictures revealing nothing new or damning. That was quicker than usual. Sam here helped me cut the labor in half. William smirked, didn't he? Did he now? Maybe I shouldn't be so concerned about him after all. You better be paying him what he's worth, Fox. No cheating him. I'd pay him more if I could, but a fox has got to eat too. I'm right here, you know. William, what's taking so long? We don't know who's saying this. I can't recognize the voice, but it sounds like it belongs to a woman. Oh, is that his wife coming into town? Like he does in the other round? In William's round. All the confidence and energy in his voice seems to leave him. Again, I hate to cut this short, boys, but I really have to turn your way right now. Wait, one last thing. Coyote sighs. You can tell he's lost his patience. Have you seen Nick? Not for a few days, no. Not since the night of the riot? I've seen him moseying around town at the very least. Oh. How come he hasn't come to see me yet? When can you be in touch again? Not for a while. He slams the door, slams in our faces. What? I hear Murdoch tisk. Damn. I'd hoped we could bully him into some poker. You were right, though. Seeing William did clear my head. Well, that's good. No, it isn't. He looked miserable and scared. It was the most disorganized I'd ever seen him. You told me today that this place changes people. Is it changing William, too? Murdoch's lips pursed. Maybe. He made spinning gestures with his paws in the air. Probably. He was drinking, wasn't he? Yeah, I could smell it too. We might have just walked in on him at a bad time. He hadn't lived here for very long, so I doubt it could be affecting him much. And again, You hadn't lived here for very long either, and your reactions are extreme. I wait for him to press me on that, but for some reason he never does. I want to know how I can protect myself. I'll share what I know, but I don't think you'll like it. I need to know. Then let's get back to the shop. It unsettles me to be in a store like this at night. Where there should be people, there's just empty space. Food sits neatly on a rack, not to be touched, like it's a prop in a museum or a model in a dollhouse. I get the same kind of feeling that I get when walking through an empty church on a day with no service. That lingering feeling of trespass. Murdoch walks to the corner of the store where the photography work is displayed and plucks something from a stand and puts it in his pocket. Comes back to the front of the store and knocks on the door of the pharmacy. What do you need? I'm busy. I want to get to the spot now. Oh, you changed your mind? The rat swung open the door, takes off goggles, and immediately stops in front of me. What's he still doing here? I want to take both of us to the spot. You can't be serious. I couldn't be more. The rat sighed and rubbed the back of his neck with his paw. It's late. Hadn't stopped us before. Well, maybe here's some place to be tonight. He gestures at me. I don't have any place to be. Ralph looks Murdoch in the eye. I don't like this. Doesn't matter. He plucked a photograph from his pocket and slapped the side of it with his knuckles. He knows. Ralph flinches. Then he starts stammering. Well, plucks his cigar with a small lighter from his coat pocket and lights it. You don't have to do that right now. Yeah, I do. Rat blew a quick puff of smoke over his shoulder. Give me a few minutes. Brushes his shoulders with both of us as he passes, stepping out of the front door. So your partner over there know as well? How many people in this shithole do know? Murdoch hops up to sit on the counter and places his hands on his knees. I don't really ask. I'll wager more than a few know something's not right. Sometimes it's really obvious from the start, though. He looks at me and lets his words hang in the air. I want to ask what he means when Ralph bursts in through the front door. All right. I'll go get the caddy. Be ready in a few minutes. Rummaging noises follow the rat as he disappears once again into the pharmacy. Cross my arms and lean against a support column. So, where's this spot? You ever been to the lake in town? Oh god, the fucking lake. I see it enough from the front of my balcony. That's not really an answer. I bristle. I don't like the crowds. Lake Emma's bigger than it looks. Oh god, they're going to the lake. Oh god. Me and Ralph know a few places people don't tend to frequent. And you want to take me there now? In the middle of the night? He slips off the counter, steps to me, and looks in my face. He's so close that our chests touch. If you really want to know all that I know, yeah, I do. Last time I went out at night when somebody asked me to, I nearly died. I want somebody to know where we are if I'm going out. I will say, I just caught onto this. I don't at all find it intentional, but I just realized the kind of funny parallel that Murdoch wears a camera, and in Repeat, the main character wears a camera. Maybe Echo and fucking Repeat are in the same universe too. Oh man. The furry visual novel multiverse. I'm so fucking stupid. The fox rolled his eyes. I don't have a problem with that. He made a pencil and a piece of paper. He scowls and then walks over to the counter in front of the pharmacy. Hear a drawer open and a soft ripping sound. Since you asked so nicely. Hiss comes from my mouth. I always ask nicely. Regardless. I start to dictate aloud as I write. Samuel Ayers, Murdoch Burns. You spelled my name wrong. And the pharmacy rat. Pharmacy isn't spelled with an F. Went to Lake Emma on July 8th at 8:30. 8:50. I speak a little louder as I erase. It was a lovely evening. Why is he talking to himself? Dude, I like your style. The rat is already on the opposite side of me, breathing down my neck. How many fucking pockets do you need? Jesus Christ. Pharmacy isn't spelled with an F. It doesn't fucking matter. I just want people to know where I am tonight. I leave the note face up on the desk. Enough dallying, let's be off. Ralph carries the supplies while Murdoch locks the door behind me. Snuff the lantern. We won't need it until we get to the lake anyway. He's right. Lights coming from plenty of houses late into the night, making it easy enough to see in the dim lights of the alleyways. Gravel and dirt crunch beneath our feet as we breathe in dry air. As we follow the road for a while, the houses get sparser and the stars above get brighter. I clear my throat. Alright. I'd like to know why y'all are dragging me out here now. Ralph ignores me and keeps walking. Murdoch breaks the silence. It's because it's an important place for the both of us. For better and for worse. Start with the better then. Alright. Remember when I said I used to spend my summers out of town? Me and the rest of my siblings used to go by ourselves since my mom and my grandma didn't have the best relationship. Shocking. Ralph lets out a laugh. So you got acquainted with Mrs. Vance today? You still have your balls, so you did well. Murdoch hemmed. So as I was saying, my grandmother certainly wasn't a Christian. Before she emigrated with my granddad, she was involved with the customs, beliefs, and rituals of her community. She was very serious when she told stories about fairies, spirits, and goblins like she believed in them for real. They were fun stories, but I didn't believe a lick of them. Just realized, Flynn's grandma spoke a lot about stuff like that too. Funny that. But ideas about places stuck with me. She seemed to think buildings and sacred places could have personalities and souls like people do. Was she one of the biddies who thought every stone and every tree has feelings? If cowboys can feel, why not the trees? Both of you be less like yourselves for a second. Sam, her belief wasn't about nature having all sorts of souls. It was about the collective experiences of people building the soul of a place. Like why you're compelled to hush up in a synagogue or church. Or why a room full of dead person's belongings still feels like trespass even years after somebody's been gone. She said feelings stick around like stains on a carpet. And what does that have to do with anything? We're going to a place where the idea consistently works. I hear Ralph stop ahead of me and see him crouch down. He fumbles for the lighter in his pocket. Which pocket? There's like 7 of them. Takes him a few moments to light the oil lantern, but the sudden brightness tells on his success. Ooh, pretty! Pretty, pretty. We're close enough to the waterfront to hear the shoreline. I don't like being at this lake, man. It's still a bit of a hike from here. We have to get to the bit of the lake that goes between the canyon. I look around me and see lots of lights in the distance near the water. I never knew the lake was still this crowded even after dark. Mate, why wouldn't it be crowded? It's big bloody lake and we're still in the middle of summer. I still thought it was important for this to be private. I just thought this was important for it to be private. It will be. People stay clear from where we're about to go. Yeah, that's a good sign. When we get to where the lake meets the face of the rock and goes between it, we start to see more pine trees, shrubs, and ferns. It's harder to walk here, but there's a narrow strip of land against one of the cliffs in the water that lets us keep walking. I reckon this is a similar place to where we went when we chose our route in Echo. On the other side, the lake opens up again, and there's more arches, more jagged rock formations. Ooh, pretty! We keep walking until we come upon a large boulder in the sand beneath a shallow cave. Alright. We're here. Where's here? A place me and him have been coming to for years. Rat jerked his head at the fox. Ever since we were both boys. And after all these years, we discovered a neat trick. Murdoch digs through his pants pockets, slips out a photograph, and hands it to me. Look familiar, eh? Your dad was showing me this earlier. Of course he did. He shows it to everybody. And I'll bet he told you the story about a monster, too. One that eats campers and nomads. So much that sometimes I hear folks telling stories about it. Like it's real. And like it's in that photograph. But it's just a mountain. Of course it's just a mountain. I was there. I took the damn picture. Except, sometimes it's not just a mountain. Sometimes when I feel like I'm at my lowest, or when I feel like I'm worthless, I take a look at the photograph. When it's not a mountain, that's when I know that I'm being messed with. If the photo is all we need, then what's the point of coming here? Because it's the easiest place for us to get into a terrible mood. The faster we're in a bad mood, the sooner we can force ourselves into a better one. Efficient, right? I'm in a bad mood all the time anyways. I don't need to put myself into one on purpose. Then what do you see in the photograph right now? It's still just a stupid mountain. Hey, Sam. What's the worst memory you can think of? I don't want to think about awful shit. I knew you would hate this. Well, who wouldn't? It feels like a waste of time. But he's there, staring back with his dead eyes that won't close. Look at the photo again. This is stupid. Try looking one more time. If it's not working, we'll stop. Take another look at the damn piece of paper. What? There was a snake! Son of a bitch! Let's see if we can get another closer look. Yeah, it's a fucking snake! A snake, a snake. Son of a bitch. Much politer than my first time. So it worked. So it did. Now please explain the point of this. Aside from shaving more years off my life. In this town, when we're in an altered state of mind, sometimes it seems like we can suddenly see the stains people leave behind. It's like it makes make the bad things real, and we add our own. So if we don't want to add heat to the boiler, so to speak, we have to find ways to control how we feel and what we can see. Such as, well, the hard way is thinking yourself out of it. You recognize how you're feeling, you pinpoint the emotion in your head, and you think about what you're feeling over and over again to recognize it and to make it stop. I've done too much thinking for today already. What's the easy way? Substances. I feel my brow scrunched, such as whatever works for you. Alcohol, psilocybin, cannabis. Just avoid opium. That's just a good idea in general, avoid opium. Takes your pain away, but seems to make you see more. So you're a couple of druggies then. Considering my line of work, how is that even remotely surprising? I stand up, ready to leave. No thanks. I'm not willing to put any poison in my body. Hey now. Poison? Really? We just said that it's the easy way, not the only way. You've got a powerful substance factory in between your ears. Nothing weird happens to you while you work, does it? Huh? Now that you mention it, no. It doesn't. You don't whore just for money, do you? You get that rush, right? Everybody gets a rush. It's called a climax. But you'd like to draw it out, right? To make it last as long as it can. That works just as well as any substance. Except it's not possible to stay perpetually randy all the time. Fox tried to fake a light laugh. Speak for yourself. The amount of times you try to ask for Poppy speaks for itself. The rat is lighting something again. I don't know what's in those cigars anymore. It's probably not tobacco. The scent is off. You should switch to cannabis. That one slows me down too much. You need to slow down. Don't you agree? He looks at me, still puffing on the funny-smelling cigar. His eyes look a bit red. This is the first time you've asked my opinion on anything. Because I think this matters. What matters more is figuring out how to make Sam stop seeing the monster in the picture. Fair enough. That's why we're here, after all. So, sex works for you. Works for me, too. Well, it's not enough. Considering how much I do it, I still have problems. Ralph whistles. Sounds like it's a little unrealistic to manually induce an altered state in your body 24/7. Might even suggest a little bit of ganja isn't evil. This just makes me want to ask something. How do you both know that sex really works? Murdoch glares at the rat, but he rolls his eyes. How else do you think? He jacked it before looking a few times. Murdoch shrugged his shoulders. We needed to see that it works. It does. Oh, please. Want me to slip a tip into your stock to stop your whining? You think you can afford it? The rat looks flushed and mutters something under his breath. Please don't tell me the only reason we're out here is because the two of you wanted to dope up and stroke off. Don't be a bloomin' idiot. We just come here to think. This is where his brother died. Oh, damn. For the first time I hear a snarl come from Murdoch. Well, it lasts for a second, but his lips are curled back and I see a flicker of genuine fear in Ralph's eyes. Then the fear turns to guilt. Sorry. Maybe I should tell him what you think about, just to even the playing field. Now, you're right. That was wrong of me. Murdoch hands out his paw. He beckons with it. Okay, I'll take some now. Al stares at him for a moment. He rifles through his coat, plucks out a small green tablet and hands it over it. Murdoch takes it. I sigh and take a look at the photograph again. Monster's still there, clearer than ever. So I rub my chin and give the rat a signal with my hand. Alright. Give me one of those capsules, too. I feel my ear flick with agitation, but only if it's free. Ralph pulls a cigar out of his mouth. No. That would be a bad idea. He holds the cigar out to me. Puff on this instead. What is it? Cannabis, same as the capsule. You'll feel it faster than he does, but it'll leave your system quicker. So, is there some other reason the two of you stalk this location? Something you're still not telling me? Like I said before, this is a complicated place. I notice now that Ralph and Murdoch's behaviors have changed. Their voices are deeper. Oh, thanks. Now I have to do that. More solemn. They don't seem... but they also don't seem as formal or uptight. Ralph looks all around him and lifts his head up to the rock ceiling. I think this part of the lake is evil. Some of our best memories happened here. But so did our worst. Remember when you caught that huge catfish, Stockings? I told you to stop calling me that. We both thought we'd be in the newspapers. We were way off, weren't we? We still had a good time. Till Holly snitched on where we were. But it still made Seamus happy. He was so excited. I miss him too, Murdoch. The wind picks up. There were other kids who drowned near here too. So this lake has a long history of killing kids. People say there's something about the current that sucks you under. I don't really know what to believe. I just know it's easy to get privacy here. So we hate it. But we love it too. This place feels like everything we are. And everything we will ever be. It was our childhood. The two of us understood that there's something wrong with this damn town for years of our life. And now you do too. It is where we come to learn how to cope with it in secret. Have been for 9 years. Cope? Cope with what exactly? The hell is preying on his town? Brad and Fox exchange a wary glance with one another and then looked back to me. We still don't know. And it might not just be one thing. That's something me and Ralph don't agree on yet. It's like a sickness of the mind that brings out the worst in people. The monsters in people's heads become real to them. They become crazy. But I think it's just one thing. Because whatever it is, it knows how to think like a person. And it knows how to hurt us as well. I see him scrunch his legs close to his chest and wrap his arm around his legs. I want to figure out how to turn it back. Seamus deserved better. Everybody who lives here deserves so much better. Well, it sucks to know that these guys fail, because otherwise Echo would be just a fucking dating sim, wouldn't it? Like, oh, that's sad. God, that's sad. Ralph sighs. You right? He shuts his eye and squeezes a few tears out. Should be. About 30 minutes or so. You're a really quiet crier. His tail wags and he chuckles. Thanks. I didn't mean that as a compliment. My lips are dry. I swallow before speaking up. I heard the pictures talking to me today. In the dark room. Nothing's ever spoken to me before. Me neither. Maybe the disease is making him hear things that aren't there. I jerked my head towards Murdoch. It told me to kill him. I lay it out quietly. How? Why? Strangulation. Not sure why. Yes, you do. Oh, God! Hello, fucking... Oh, no, this would be... Who would I refer to this as? Because this isn't... obviously, Chase hasn't been a thing yet. And I don't know if the thing between James and the other guy happened yet or not. I don't think it has, because I think James fled. I don't fucking know who this is. Yes, you do. The voice seems to think you know things. But what specific thing? It's even speaking to me now. You think you're safe to bleat my secrets? It's smarter to be useful. You're running out of opportunities. I'm coming. The wind gets just a bit louder. Are you still hearing things? No. But it told me it was coming. Dude, this is exactly what I've been waiting for goddamn, by the time this comes out, it may be 2021, which means I've been playing these visual novels for 4 years now. And this is the first time some crazy weird shit has been happening and someone just fucking talks about it like it's actually happening. Instead of this like vague, oh, we'll figure it out when we get to it bullshit. Like, fuck, just talk. I think it's angry with me. All of us look at the entrance of the cave. Do any of you hear that? Get down. Oh God, what's happening? Across from the opening of the rocks, there's signs of movement across the water. I can hear strained squealing, like the wheels on a cart. Then they come to a stop. We can make out a figure in the distance, covered in heavy layering. It's hard enough to see him in the dark as it is, but the face is obscured by what might be cloth wrappings or bandages. Grunting and growling rings out into the night as the figure wrestles with something in the cart. Something that looks like an extra large potato sack. It falls onto the ground. Murdoch lowers his voice to a whisper. What are they doing? Not likely anything good. Hopefully they're not dumping anything toxic into the lake. If they're doing something harmful, we should probably interrupt. I hold Murdoch's forearm as he begins to stand up. Don't go near them. He gives me a confused look, and then worry spreads through his face. I can tell that he's reminded of how much stronger I am than he is right now as he stops trying to stand and squats back down. The figure pauses for some time as if looking around before shuffling over to the wall of one of the canyons. It takes us a while to realize that they're picking up small rocks and sorting them into little piles. And then the sack itself starts to move. No, that couldn't be it. The fox is silenced by the figure holding one of the larger rocks over its head. Then they bring it down. A muffled cry is cut short, and it turns into a horrible wet noise. And then there's nothing. None of us can say anything. Whoever it is hobbles over to one of the rock piles and starts stuffing the sack with pebbles. It's close enough for us to hear the clattering. Then the splash soon as the retied sack tumbles down the rocks and into the water. We have to go. Now. Shouldn't we wait for him to leave before running? We all feel the air move across our backs as the cave behind us wails, and Ralph's expression changes from consternation into fear. They'll smell the smoke. As if on cue, the disguised figure raises their head to sniff the air. Then they look towards us. And they bolt to the left. Run! 3 of us hop to our feet and book it out of the cave. What if they're carrying a pistol? It's not gonna look... I'm not gonna look behind to check. You think they saw us? They definitely saw something! Probably couldn't recognize us. I can feel the stinging sensation build up in my legs as we keep going. We get to the front of the tunnel, which leads back to the crowded part of the beach, but I do a double take and then stop based on what I'm seeing. The hell? Sam, don't stop running! 2 girls dressed in white dresses are sitting on the rocks staring at me. I keep up the jog, but I can't help but look back when I see them. They're gone. Do you see those kids? What kids? That's not his voice. I keep fucking it up. I stop and listen. It's definitely a muffled sneeze coming from behind a rock. But I pounce and grab whoever's there. A high-pitched scream pierces my ears. Oh, it's Blythe. Let go of me, asshole. Isn't this one of the kids from the fucking church? When I let her go, I have to dodge the swipe she makes at my face. The fuck? They're really little girls running around here. I wish I was surprised.
Mind your business, Dexter, so they're still looking for a fight.
She pulls out a switchblade. Whoa, what? Is that any way for a young lady to be talking?
There's nothing but the children or men who rig apart have a place to tell me what to do.
Fuck you. Old! I hate kids. Shouldn't you be doing your homework?
I ain't got shit to do, old man. Besides, one of my friends is missing.
Ralph groans. If you don't scoot on home, you'll have been missing too, you bloody dab. She spit on him. Ralph made a motion towards her. Ralph, she's a child. You are a grown man. I don't care, I'll beat her ass.
I'll beat yours if you had any.
Ooh, we can't stay here, we have to go. The cat takes a look at me as if she's remembering.
Oh, it's you. I remember you. Why do you have to go?
We might have witnessed a homicide. And they might be chasing us.
Oh, how interesting.
Not interesting, you're not safe!
Very interesting. You must be comfy with getting tailed by now.
What did she mean by that? Fuck this, let her fend for herself!
That's what I wanted in the first place, stupid.
We can't just leave a minor unaccompanied like this, it's not safe! And we are? There's no point arguing about it now. What? Turned to see where Ralph pointed, but now the black cat has already scaled half the cliffside. How is she that fast? Stop talking and haul ass! The kid's fucking obnoxious. I feel a little better once we're past the canyon tunnel and by the more crowded parts of the lake, running past each crowd. Some of them gasp or shout at us, asking who we are. We're gone before we can answer. We keep running even when we make it to the road. We still keep running even when we're back in town.